What's up, guys? Welcome to the February 21st edition of Gridlife Digest Weekly, the culture and gaming podcast, and the #1 Luigi is a Cuck podcast. My name is Noah Friscott, but joining me is the MILF man, Micah and Noah.
Hey there, sir. You ready to make a podcast?
Oh, I'm so ready. You
make
know,
some kids happy.
I'm always ready for a podcast with you, Micah. You know that. But,
okay, I'm excited because I feel like I have this kind of relationship no one else can touch. A lot of weird things.
Oh,
we both laugh at each other.
I imagine at some point this evening there's going to be things said that are just going to be regretted. But I'm down. I'm ready for it. And yeah, it's just going to be
we're both ready.
Yeah, it's just going to be a tender one-on-one.
No one's going to be here to tell us to shut up.
Exactly.
So it's just going to keep on going.
It's going to be a fucking madhouse tonight.
Like remember last episode we started talking about Gord? Like,
he's back.
You haven't seen the half of it.
He's coming back.
That was like a vengeance.
He is absolutely coming back. And for the uninitiated, each of us uses a topic for conversation, and we recommend a piece of media for the group and audience to check out. You can get the show on YouTube and the podcast service of your choice every Wednesday, and be sure to check out gridlifedigest.com to see all the content in one place. In addition to being available on demand on the platform of your choice, we also stream the recording live on twitch.tv/gridlifedigestplays if you like your podcast raw and unedited. And while you're at it, follow us on our social media platforms at Gridlife Digest on Twitter and Instagram, as well as at Gridlife Digest Pod on Facebook, so you never miss what's happening. So I might be missing a few things on this, but now it is time for the weekly Gridlife Digest press conference sponsored by Gord's 1989 Geo Metro. So the first order of business, I don't think I've ran this by any of you guys, but I'm not gonna do the topic breakouts anymore because we are shortening the show to only include 2 topics, which will hopefully push us to following our name, which has been our goal, and making the show easier to listen to. 2.5 to 3 hours is way too fucking long, and we understand that.
Yeah.
And also, just the breakouts didn't perform. Like, I was hoping they would bring in, a few more views, but they performed significantly worse than the long show for some reason. So, it's just probably the branding thing. Like, it's hard to... You don't have any idea what you're jumping into.
I feel like all of them, like, all the views combined on each of the breakout videos didn't even add up to what we were getting.
No.
Consistently.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Like, at all.
It's like...
And it was just kind of...
Yeah, it was. Like, I was giving myself 4 times the work for no payoff whatsoever. So it's like, you know what? And also, Eli has the volume, so doing the individual topics makes the volumes kind of pointless. Because, like, all right, you can already listen to all the topics individually, so let's actually make them special and break them out in, the volume episodes. So it made those redundant, and also just, it was a lot of work for no payoff. If we were actually getting a lot of more views on those, probably would keep them, but we're shortening the show as it is. We're going to try and make it more digestible, so fuck it. Just get rid of them.
The listeners have spoken, or have voted with their views.
The views have spoken.
We're listening.
Yes. Paying attention to those analytics. So we actually hit our goal of not just 69 subs, but 70 subs on YouTube. Thank you so much to everyone who gave us a subscription, watched our videos, listened to our dumb conversations. Means a lot. We're climbing the ladder. We're getting there. We're putting in work.
One sub at a time.
At a time. It's just gonna get
all of you matter. Like, even if you don't watch our stuff all the time, I appreciate it.
Yep. It's just gonna be the snowball.
Makes it all worth it.
It's just gonna be that snowball effect.
Yep. It'll be more and more and more. It'll be like, a little tiny snowball rolling down a big old fucking hill, and at the end it's like the size of your fucking car.
Disappointment.
Like, and that'll be all yeah. It's the loaded disappointment that's in the shape of a Geo Metro.
In the shape of a 1989, like, crusty, misshapen Geo Metro that's seen... The mileage is just way too high. Like, that thing needs to be totaled.
Yeah, no, like, that thing doesn't even fucking work anymore.
Yeah, like you can barely start it.
It got to 400,000 miles, and then, like,
wow,
it just won't go up anymore. Like,
that's crazy.
They didn't even go past 400,000 because they didn't think it reached to that many miles.
Yeah, they're like, no one will actually ever have this for that long.
And from what you can tell, like, it might have been gray, or it could have been blue, and then it, like, just fucking faded over time.
Yeah, no one is really sure. Yeah, it's very unclear.
It's the new rust color. Like, put that in the circulation. I'm sure that's what the people want.
That's in
your
vogue.
rust-colored cars.
Oh yeah, this it's like jeans with the holes purposely put in them.
Exactly.
It's that
like
same
they
kind of
purposely
market.
give you they give you a rusty ass car, like just so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it's like you can just let it go because we've done the work for you. Like we've completely just taken them to the wayside. Like you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, like we purposely make jeans fucking dirty now. Like, how does that even work? You just fucking roll it in a bunch of mud.
I don't know.
Throw it in the dryer.
See, that would be a little ridiculous. It's like holes. I get it. It's a style thing, but
no, like the dirt thing is an actual thing.
See,
like
I did not know about that.
It's some sort. I saw a DIY or DIY video on how to do it. Like, you know, they're comparing it to like the end product of some jeans created by, I don't know, some big jean company, whatever. And well, pretty much what they did is they just put a bunch of dirt on it. Like they had some like mud solution.
Just fucking
dirt and water.
Nice.
Yeah, like, well, how fancy can you get with that? And they just smeared it all over it, threw it in the dryer, pulled it out, and it looked exactly the same as the other jeans. And they were like $100 more or something.
Of course, it's that pre dirty dirt.
Yeah,
not
it's
down.
Like you can't get this dirt anywhere else. Like this is some like the most John Wayne dirt you can get. Like this is the kind of dirt you see in the westerns.
Yeah, this is some premium Clint Eastwood dirt that you're seeing here today. Yeah,
like this is the fucking dirt and like scraped off the bottom of his shoe. Like it's that premium.
Mel Gibson's boot.
You don't want to snort this dirt.
You want to snort it? Wow, that's see that I don't know about that. I mean,
it's you'd be sneezing forever, but it's that fine.
But it's John Wayne's dirt, so
dirt.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm snorting history.
You like the dirt. History. Does that make me learn? It makes you something. I don't know about learning.
But it's natural selection because that's gonna fuck you up eventually. I mean, inhaling dirt constantly.
Yeah, it's like the Tide Pod things. I mean, well, they're next to first they're eating Tide Pods, next they're snorting dirt. What's next? What's the next evolution of just ism? I don't know, just stupidity.
You thought we've already scraped the bottom of the barrel? No, it's like it's only going to go deeper. We're gonna just break the bottom out of the barrel and grab whatever is like below the barrel. Like there is no
like
barrel.
900.
Yeah, we just dig deep down below the barrel to find just the worst possible, most deplorable acts you could possibly imagine. We're not there yet.
And I feel like, well, I was gonna say anyways. I feel like people are just gonna these companies are gonna keep on inventing things for us to like not supposed to eat, but like people eat them anyways.
They're gonna specifically market them to the YouTube generation that's like, I want to eat that. It's not edible, but I don't care. I want views. Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's gonna be companies dedicated to that. Like
unfortunately,
these, Tide spin-offs creating
edible
I don't know,
detergent. Like, what if they actually made it edible? So it looks like detergent, but you can actually consume it and be safe. Just an idea, but there goes the challenge.
That would be an interesting idea. I feel like I saw something like that. Maybe it was like Oreos or something, even though it's probably a spoof. But I feel like that's already a thing. Like they're capitalizing on that.
I'm sure
because there's some money to be made there.
Yeah, in the stupid kid market. Yeah, there's an astronomical amount of money to be made there. Unfortunately, I'll have to look into that. Just like edible, just detergent and soap and a bunch of different stuff.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's out there. So
we ready to get going?
I think so. So, Micah, have you been playing any of those video games lately?
The video games. Yeah, I played one of them. So I started playing Outlast 2 just because of how much Emma was talking about it on our Game of the Year show. I think I paid like $11 for it. Originally it was like $20, so I was like, $11 isn't bad at all. And I started up, and I just immediately noticed that like this game looks a lot better than the first one. Like
I
there's a
hope so.
lot more of those polygons
So many more polygons. When did the first
in
one
the
come out?
old game. I think it was 2012.
Okay, that
Might
sounds
have
about
been
right.
later. 2014 or around that. 2012, 2014 around there. And that game wasn't pretty, but like you could give it a pass just because it was indie and still scary nonetheless. But this game, like it looks way better. Like I don't know, you can just see the sheen on the ground and just shit like that they didn't have in the other one.
Love that sheen.
And just, I mean, I feel like that alone like sells me on video games. Like, can I see the wetness of objects?
I want to see how damp that surface is. Yeah.
I want to see if I can see my fucking reflection in it. Like if I can, yeah, that money was well worth.
Game of the year.
Yep, game of the year. I just need those visual effects. That's it. But no, that game, it's a good game. I'm so far enjoying it. You start out on a helicopter and you're like recording for whatever fucking newscast they have going on. Keeper Action News, whatever their fucking version is.
Action News.
Anyway, get it here. If you go anywhere else, you're getting the wrong news. The
Fake
main
news,
character
man.
is just recording this one Lynn or Lindsay or something like that. It starts with an L. And anyways, you're recording her, and then like all of a sudden, of course it goes down. As soon as you land, like you get up and then you're like, I've got to find Lynn.
I gotta find her.
Yeah.
Where's she? Where is she?
He repeats that at least like 5 or 6 times. Where's Lynn?
Lynn.
Running around in the dark with a fucking camera that like lets him see in the dark for some reason.
Lynn.
Night vision. Yeah, like around every corner. Where's Lynn? And then you finally find her, and then like these bunch of weirdo freaks in front of you, and then that's it. At least that's all I know about the game so far.
Sounds riveting. Just Lynn.
It is very riveting. Lynn.
You're looking in the water reflection on the ground. You're like, is she in here? Where is she?
Lift up a barrel.
Yeah.
Lynn, are you in here?
Where are you?
I know you're in there. Don't be playing hide and seek with me.
Swear to me. Yeah.
Swear to me. But there's also some cool mechanics they have. Like you could look down at like your torso, like at your pockets, and see if you have like batteries like in your left pocket. And then bandages in your right pocket. And then like you can go and like pretty much pick it up and then use it. Look down and do that because that'd be pretty cumbersome. Or whatever it is. Or your bandages to heal yourself. But yeah, I'm excited to get more into it. I really like that first person aspect of horror games. Like for Evil Within 2 or to where now they have a first person mode for it. So I'm pretty interested to see how that works out. Might be like how Resident Evil 7 switched over to first person. I'll check that out.
I honestly thought about picking up Evil Within when I saw that there was a first person mode because I'm with you. Like I think first person just fits way more, especially except for a few exceptions like Dead Space, because Dead Space used the HUD on the back very efficiently, and I think that kind of justified the third person perspective. But yeah, no, just first person is immediately way scarier.
That's all you have to be doing is seeing what your character is seeing, and it scares the shit out of you. Reason, like you feel like you're actually there. And another thing I wanted to say about Outlast 2 is, so I'm playing on my big TV, which is in the background. One thing I noticed is like with the OLED, for it to go black, it totally turns off the pixel, so you don't see that like glow in the background of the black. Anyways, like if it feels like fucking like way more immersive, like if it's totally pitch black, because then you're just seeing like where you're shining your light. Like it makes it like that much more fucking claustrophobic. It's a weird experience.
That sounds terrifying. Yeah, just pitch
like
darkness.
Yeah, it's like I'm like really claustrophobic. I'm like I have to fucking turn this off or I'm gonna feel really uncomfortable right now and want to get under my covers, never come out. Like it was that bad.
Damn.
But they did their job right if they're making you feel that way, because I want to feel that way. I want to feel scared shitless.
That's why you buy the game, after all.
Yeah. So what you been playing, Noah?
So there's this game that just came out. Everyone always says, this little indie gem, but it's actually a little indie gem. Kingdom Come Deliverance. It is from I believe, an Eastern European studio called Warhorse Studios. It is a first-person medieval RPG. It's trying to be kind of like a Elder Scrolls type game, but without the fantasy elements. It relies very heavily on realism, and for better and worse. I took attention to this game a while back. I didn't know about the Kickstarter or anything, but just like watching the trailers and the development updates that they were going through, I was really interested just because I got such heavy Oblivion vibes from it. I was like, all right, you got my attention. So starting it up, I was too impatient to wait for the update file to load when I first got the game. So I just jumped in, and it was just, I should have waited, because the first thing I noticed was the absolutely just horrendous lip sync. Like, it makes Mass Effect Andromeda look like The Last of Us. But after the patch, like, it was pretty. It looks good. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but it's the level of jank that I expect from an open world game like that, especially from an indie studio. It's kind of interesting. There was a whole controversy around it surrounding the lack of racial diversity in it, but from what I understand, that's from the setting, which is medieval Bohemia, modern day Czech Republic. There weren't a lot. It wasn't not a melting pot of various races, but I need to go look into that more before I want to do a video on just the whole thing this Friday, but we'll see. Yeah, it's very white, predominantly white, and people took significant offense to that, for one.
From what I saw from like some little gameplay I saw on like fucking Instagram, all places, is like it looked basically like if Skyrim had better combat. Like, is that a good way of describing it?
Honestly, like I said, I'd compare it more to Oblivion, honestly, just in the aesthetic, because like the very like journal-esque menu system, like it looks much more Oblivion, and also just the color palette, it's really bright, really colorful, whereas Skyrim is very like kind of like dark and gray and dour, which I prefer that, but there's definitely a place in my heart for the very colorful green, forests. Speaking of the forest, they might have the most beautiful and natural looking forest I've ever seen in any game. It's absolutely stunning, but that's if you can get past the myriad of issues that it has technically. In the first like introductory couple hours, I encountered just numerous bugs. For example, one was in a cutscene where my character was drawing his sword, but there wasn't a sword there. So he's just fighting these people off just with nothing, just an air sword. And most of the glitches are funny. Yeah, most of the glitches are funny, but it was really annoying because another one where there's these line of fences, but they weren't there. They were not visible whatsoever. So I was trying to get through this place, and I was like, I cannot go. Like, why can't I go? And then all of a sudden, I accidentally press square, and he clambers over the fence. I'm like, there's supposed to be a fence here, and there isn't.
Supposed to be. Well, that game sounds like an Elder Scroll game. Like,
it does. It's
just because of how glitchy it is. Did Bethesda make this somehow?
No, it's worse than Bethesda. It's worse than Bethesda. But honestly, like the systems, like it's so much of an Elder Scrolls game. Like just the way it looks, the movement. It feels like Oblivion with a bunch of realism mods installed and a different combat system. Just the way like you can like wait. And, for time to pass, you can interact with a lot of objects in the world. You can, sit in every chair. You can read books. Well, you can't read books yet because your character is illiterate at the beginning for authenticity's sake. Sneaking around, you level up your skills by, repeated use. So, you want to get better archery. You use the bow. So that's very Elder Scrolls. And yeah, just systematically and mechanically very much like that. And then the combat system I actually really like. It was getting kind of panned in the preview videos before the game came out, but I actually find myself really liking it. You feel very vulnerable. You are not this badass, dragonborn slayer of multiple men at once. Like if you get caught against several bandits at once, like you are going to die. Like you have to be really tactical in how you handle things and also employ stealth. One of the really cool things about it is if you find a bandit camp and you sneak in, you can either like poison their food and stuff like that to kind of like thin out the ranks for you. So it has all these really cool immersive systems that play, but then against the backdrop of this really glitchy mess. But then against that backdrop of this really beautiful medieval European world. So it's almost like a Mass Effect Andromeda in that it has some really great elements to it that are marred by its technical insufficiencies, which is kind of a shame. But they have already rolled out like 2 patches, and they're working diligently to try to get this game to be in a stable state. So I appreciate and I applaud them for that. Also, the save system is absolute garbage because in order to save the game whenever you want, you have to buy or find this potion, which completely goes against and which again completely goes against their state of realism, which then makes it why can't you put some black people in this game. But anyway, I'll discuss that later. But yeah, so you basically have to have this potion in order to save whenever you want, and it's just stuff like that is just kind of like you're clearly not valuing the player's time. It's like I want to be able to just save and quit and move on. It also saves at like the certain point in quests, like the beginning, middle, and end. It typically saves, but not nearly enough. So you could lose, hours of progress if you just, make a quick mistake and die, and you're loaded all the way back to the beginning of a quest, which can sometimes last a really long time. So they really need to fix that. On the PC version, there is a mod that gives you unlimited saves, and it is very popular, and everyone on the r/Kingdom Come subreddit is downloading it. And it apparently makes the game a lot better. But yeah, it's a feature that they need to fix immediately. Just let us save whenever. Like, I know they're trying to be immersive and realistic, but I don't know how that is realistic to them, but whatever. Also, the lockpicking system, that's one thing they should have just ripped from Skyrim completely, because it is absolutely abysmal.
Jeez.
It's so frustrating.
How could you mess that up?
I don't know. It's so easy you just seriously rip it off. Even if you ripped off the Oblivions, like that would have been preferable to what they have. It's basically fucking impossible until you level up your lockpicking skills. And lockpicks are not found easily like in Elder Scrolls games. So they're expensive as hell and super rare. And if you fuck it up, like you're screwed. Like I'm at this quest right now where I have to break into someone's house and steal something from them, but I've run out of all my lockpicks because the lockpicking minigame is fucking impossible. So, excuse me, if they can fix these little areas, this could be a serious Game of the Year contender, honestly. But man, are the issues that are there pretty glaring until then. Because
I mean, it sounds like with that lockpicking thing, like they should have just copied it all the way. If they're copying aspects of a game, just fucking copy it.
Yeah, just go
like
all in.
Exactly. Don't go at all or fucking go all the way. Like with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, like they copied Smash, but they didn't copy it all the way. That's kind of why that game didn't do as well as they thought it was, because it wasn't a blatant ripoff of Smash Bros with PlayStation characters. Rip it off 75%. Like no, that's what people want.
Yeah, just go all in.
Yeah. Like it sounds like with that game they should have ripped it off all the way and just put their own twist on it.
Yeah, they wanted historical accuracy and realism, but then they do all these weird things like magical potions that heal you and all this shit. It's like, well, just let us fucking save. And
well, why are there only white people? Like,
because
there's got to be some diversity in there.
Historical accuracy. There's also like the creative director is like very like pro Gamergate and all this shit. Like it's a pretty complex issue. He's like, oh, they have some good ideas, but I was just like, all right, I'm gonna ignore this. I'm gonna play the game as the product and kind of push all that to the side. But man, there's so much good here, and there's an undeniable charm to it, but just some significant issues that need to fix. And it has a problem that Fallout 4 had, but even worse, and that you really don't get full freedom until a few hours in. It really could have benefited from a shorter prologue. But they wanted to tell a more like concise story, a more specific story. You're not really able to role play. Yeah, it's way linear. Way more linear, excuse me. You play as a set character, this guy named Henry. He's a blacksmith's son, and he is reflected as such. Like, he can't fight for shit. He can't read, like I said. So they really do a good job of making you roleplay as that character, but you're not going to be able to go and be like, oh, I want to be a traitor, or I want to be, a bandit. Like, it doesn't have that level of freedom that Elder Scrolls games provide, but it still has the level of choice in like the weapons and the skills that you can pretty much make Henry the way you want. And also in the dialogue system, it has a way better dialogue system than Fallout 4 had. It actually has skill checks. It's much more of a true role-playing game than Fallout 4 was. But it has Fallout 4's camera, where it it goes out into third person and shows the two people talking. So it's this weird amalgamation of various Bethesda Game Studios games, but then also their own combat system and dumb choices for design. So I don't know. It's a very, very strange game. I don't really know how I feel about it yet. It's kind of an off and on. Like, 1 minute I'll love it, and the next minute I hate it.
As it stands, like, what would you rate it, like, out of 10?
What would I rate it? I saw IGN give it an 8, and I think that's pretty high as of now. I'd probably give it a 6 or 7 because it does do so much right.
6 or 7. So it's kind of like all those things that are holding it back, like the stupid potions, and then the glitches and all that. That's kind of holding it back
significantly.
A higher score, like even like an 8 or a 9 or whatever you'd give it.
Yeah, it makes me want to not play it, and that's a sin that no game should have. Like, honestly,
yeah, no, fucking fix your shit. Roll out some more patches, or they should have delayed that game if it was that fucking buggy.
I mean, they did. I believe they did. I believe they pretty much ran out of budget because it was a Kickstarter, so they didn't have all the money in the world. And they like I say, kudos to them. Like, they are listing, I believe they are going to change the lockpicking system pretty soon. So they're getting these changes rolling out. They're listening to the community. So that's great to hear. It might be one to pick up in a sale later down the line, let them iron out the issues. But I have some clips, some really funny glitches that I might upload just to Twitter or something. Basically, I had a moment where two guys were fighting, and they did like the Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan and Anakin, like force pushing each other thing. Like, they were they were like standing like 2 feet apart, like with their hands at this, like pushing each other back, and they were supposed to be grabbing and like wrestling, but it looked like they were force pushing each other from Revenge of the Sith. So I might do like a little mashup of those. But yeah, it's a good game that has the potential to be great, and it's kind of a shame that, like Mass Effect Andromeda, they didn't give it enough time to marinate to make it great out of the gate. But we'll see how it turns out. I'm pretty confident that it will end up where it needs to be, but until then, probably hold off.
Yep. Fucking wait till that shit gets fixed.
You
don't want to...
Yeah. Just wait. It's really, it's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. And then I also got a Switch Pro controller today.
Oh, sweet.
And let me tell you.
How you liking that?
I love this controller. It is absolutely fantastic. I can totally see why they're charging so much for it. One, the battery life is insane from what I understand, and just the form factor. This might be one of my favorite controllers ever made. No joke.
So
it feels
better
fantastic.
than DualShock 4.
I don't know,
GameCube
man.
Controller.
I love the DualShock 4, but this thing, just the big, huge buttons, the D-pad's a lot better. The just very wide sticks. The triggers aren't that great. They don't go in that far, but that's really the biggest criticism I could have. It feels right, and I'm definitely excited to give this a go. You also can play it on a PC if you do it by Bluetooth, but I might throw in some Breath of the Wild tonight and mess with it. Because, man, I love this thing.
What have you played on it so far?
Just a little bit of Breath of the Wild, just to kind of put it through its paces, and just wow. This controller is excellent.
I feel like that game would. I feel like that controller would be good for like Bayonetta that just came out.
Yep.
Some fast paced. It would feel less cumbersome than the Joy-Cons do, even though they do feel pretty good, but they are pretty small on their own. especially if you hold them individually. It's kind of like, oh, this feels really weird. But yeah, that's insane. I mean, I was thinking about picking it up too, but I was like, fuck, I don't play enough of my Switch to warrant spending even $50 on it.
Yeah.
Was kind of my thinking. And I really don't have too many people coming over that would play it with me. You know, even then, like I have the 2 different Joy-Cons that we could play Mario Kart together fine. So I didn't see, you know, the worth in paying $50 for it. But maybe one day, you know, when I play it more or play more video games in general. So, but it definitely looks like a solid controller. Like it sounds like even the $70 would be worth it with like what you said with the longer battery life and just how ergonomic it feels. Like it doesn't look like a full-on Xbox controller because they didn't like, you know, full-on like offset the analog sticks, which I don't like to this day. Like it feels weird.
You don't like when they're not next to each other?
Yeah, I don't like that. Like it still feels fucking weird. Like when I pick up my Xbox One controller, I'm like, I don't like this. It doesn't feel natural. Even though they say like when you put your hands onto a controller, like that's naturally where your thumbs go. It's like offset. But
Yeah.
I don't like it. I mean, for me, DualShock 4 is best controller of all time. But you know that could change. I still haven't touched the Pro controller. But I did notice how with that, like they didn't deal with what they did with the Wii U Pro controller, where they put like the sticks in the the very top.
Yeah, it was like reverse offset. Like it was really poorly designed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't feel right at all. You know, even terrible. With the Wii U gamepad, they did the same thing. It's like, why do I need to reach all the way around to like try and press the buttons? Like, it doesn't make any damn sense.
The Wii U is just terrible in general. So, I mean, why would the controller be any different?
Not exactly. Like they messed up on that console, like commercially wise, sales wise, fucking design wise,
yeah,
fucking games wise.
Yeah, they didn't have the heavy hitters.
Yeah, like, oh, what were they fucking thinking with that? Come on, Nintendo. But hey, you redeemed yourself with the Switch.
Exactly.
And hopefully you stay on the right path.
Yeah, I'm glad the Wii U happened. I'm glad the Wii U happened because now we have the Switch. Yeah. And everything is great, and we have this beautiful Pro controller.
Exactly, because I mean, what happened with them was the Wii, they got fucking way too confident. Like, everyone wants a Wii, you know, even though all they played with that was fucking Wii Sports, and then they threw it in the garbage, or they left it there to collect dust for the next fucking 5 years. And they're like, oh yeah, Wii U, just we have the same console, but put a U at the end and make the box a little bit bigger and add a stupid fucking tablet controller thing that you can't use on its own. And that'll sell. No, it didn't, because people still thought it was an add-on for that fucking for the Wii, you know. And people didn't want to buy that. I never bought it. I don't think you even bought it right now.
No, absolutely not. Not down.
Well, anyways, I guess this has been the Wii U cast.
Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. I browsed the Wii U subreddit, and I was like, this is just sad. Like these guys, like poor souls.
They're still defending it to the tooth.
Some of them.
In their fucking teeth.
Yeah, they're just, the posts are just like, oh man, you guys.
Like I see once in a while in the kind of funny Facebook group, like someone's like, I bought a Wii U, why aren't they supporting it anymore?
It's like, well, there's a few reasons for that.
Yeah, I mean that console came out in like fucking 2012. It came out at a weird time because I was like a year before, you know, Xbox One and PS4 came out. Like it wasn't even announced at the time. It was kind of like in between generations. You know, whereas if they had waited or maybe put out a better console, it would have worked. But like, it wasn't even as powerful as like the Xbox 360 and PS3. Like, they had Arkham City on it, and that game ran worse than it did on Xbox 360 and PS3. Like, what were they thinking?
I don't know. It has,
Armored Edition.
Yeah, it had Mass Effect 3. It's like, all right, everyone just played Mass Effect 3. You're not going to put the trilogy on there, so Mass Effect 3 is pretty much pointless. And yeah, like Darksiders 2, like Deus Ex. Like, I actually would have loved to play Deus Ex just because that game could have benefited from the tablet controls. But yeah, it's like, what are you guys doing? It's like, we got third parties. It's like games that everyone's already played.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember thinking that at the time, like, oh, that's cool. The Wii U has like third-party games now, but like, oh wait, that came out like a year ago.
Call of Duty,
Like,
like Assassin's Creed 3, like all this
yeah,
shit. Yeah, and then it just
I don't
dropped
know,
off
like,
the face of the earth.
fucking, what were they thinking? Like, what were they smoking on? They were still smoking on the dollar bills that the Wii printed.
Exactly.
Like,
It's just
they got
like,
them all.
yeah, it's just like the PlayStation 2. Like they got Sony so confident that they come out with the PS3. It's like, we can do anything. We can charge $600 for it. They'll buy it. We know they will.
Yeah, fucking, you'll get a second job, right?
Yeah, you
to
get a
afford
second
this.
job. Fuck you.
$600. Fuck you. We have your money.
Yep.
Even though, oh wait, we don't have your money because you don't want to pay that much money for this fucking console.
Just crazy.
Jeez.
You could never charge that
What a
much
time.
today. You could never do that.
And I've noticed like some sort of trend. Well, like there's like this thing called the third console curse. So I mean, Wii U wasn't the third console, but the N64 that was kind of a failure. I mean,
Commercially.
comparing it to Wii U, comparing it to Wii U, it wasn't too much, but yeah, it was. And then PS3, that was a failure at first,
Mm-hmm.
and then same thing with Xbox One. That kind of fucking flopped on its face when it first came out. I mean, it's doing way better now, but
Thanks, Don
I don't
Matrick.
think yeah, even though we don't actually know the official numbers, because they don't want to let us know that they're not doing as well as the PS4, but I'm sure they're doing a lot better now with all the things they've been rolling out, Xbox Game Pass and all that. But good on Xbox. They're doing a lot good for their consumers. And the thing with competition is it's just better for us in the long run. We'll get better games because they're trying to compete for $1.
Yep, absolutely. And also just with the X selling out as fast as it did, like that's obviously means that there's pretty good, consumer support for Xbox right now. And they're doing so many good moves. I'm going to try to get one as soon as I can, just because like I'm looking at it, I'm like, Game Pass, like this is too good of a service to pass up. Just adding those exclusives, it's crazy. Like, how are they doing this? But they're doing it.
Yeah, it's $10 a month for fucking the games that came out, they just came out like day one. Like, yeah, no duh. You're kind of stupid if you don't get that.
Yeah,
it's a pretty insane deal. And you could realistically only pay $10 a month for Games Pass and not buy any other games.
Oh, yeah, there's so much.
Be that set.
There's so many games on there. It's crazy. You the backlog would be massive. Like you could just chip through a tiny bit of that catalog. Do they go off after a while? Is it like Netflix where it's like, oh, this game is leaving Game Pass now? Is that a thing that happens?
I think they do.
Okay.
I think it might be a thing.
There's no other way that would work.
Yeah, because it's not like they can keep the license for that forever.
Yeah.
Or, if it's a game that's hardly being played, like, why do we want this on here anymore? It's not really making us any money. Like, we're still losing money on this. But they're constantly adding in games, which is nice. And they've done a great job with that. And I hope they continue it, which I'm sure they will. And yeah, everyone go get Xbox Game Pass, if you own an Xbox. I mean, I don't have it right now, but I had it there for a bit. And it's definitely worth it. You get a lot of your older games, a lot of your newer games, everything in between. So yeah.
Video games are cool, guys. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Xbox comes out and really crushes the next generation, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I can see a reversal.
Yeah. It's going to be the same thing again. Like, Sony's going to be all high and mighty.
PS5 sucks. PS4. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking PS5 is like $1,000,
Like, it's a gaming PC. It's just a gaming PC. Yeah.
You need 3 jobs now.
You're gonna be working
on top of like stealing money from your parents. Like you're gonna have to be working real hard for this console, and then like they're gonna come out with the Xbox 2 or whatever the fuck they're gonna call that, and
just Xbox. Just do Xbox.
Yeah. What they need to do is it's just going to be a platform from now on, and maybe it'll be streaming, a mostly streaming box.
Just Game Pass. Just the Game Pass box.
Just the Game Pass box. That's all you need. I just wonder if they'll just do keep on doing like incremental upgrades. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounds like a
how
pain in the ass, though. It's like I gotta wait
Yeah,
for
I
this
mean,
upgrade. Like I'm not gonna buy now. I'm gonna wait, for 2 upgrades, then it'll be better. But by that time, this big, the Xbox XXX will be out, and it'll be incredible.
Triple X.
Yeah, the triple Xbox.
Oh my god! But I mean that's what they do with iPhones.
Yeah, and that's why I don't buy
iPhones. Are way more expensive.
Yeah, that's why I don't upgrade, forever.
Yeah, I mean they're at least like $800 a phone.
It's crazy.
And usually newer consoles are like half that.
Yeah.
So I could totally see that maybe like every other year we get a new Xbox and PS4
peripheral.
Or every 2 years or something. I mean, that'd be an interesting way to go about it. And if you think about it, it wouldn't be that much different from like PC gaming.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to have to upgrade your fucking $500 graphics cards.
It's very true.
And like one graphics card is usually way more than a fucking console. It's just how it goes. Like my GTX 1060, that alone was like almost $300. And PS4s right now are $250, if not less. So, that's the way I see it going. And eventually, we're not going to have to do that because everything's going to be streaming. I mean, I assume if net neutrality doesn't get reversed or goes back to the way it was supposed to be. But yeah, it'll be interesting see how that all turns out.
Yeah, I just feel like PC gamers are more accustomed to doing that, and the mainstream definitely isn't. Like just the normal quote unquote person who plays games, like they are the the Madden mainstream crowd. Like they are not going to be going out and buying a new Xbox every 2 years. Like it's just not going to be a thing. But if we can, culturally and societally all accept that, maybe. But I don't see it yet. I don't think we're there.
The way I see it is like you can still play your Madden on the old Xboxes and PS4s.
Yeah.
Like, the newer ones, it'll just be more pretty. Like, that'll be the only difference.
Yeah, low settings on, like, PC games.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I see it. Like, eventually it's going to be, like, so shitty you won't even want to play it anymore. So you'll buy the next one. That time, the next generation will be cheaper or whatever it is. So that's kind of how I see it working out.
Yeah, and it's possible.
It's kind of already happened. I mean, with the Xbox One S was like slightly more powerful than the original Xbox.
Yeah, loads faster.
Like even some games get like slightly better frame rates. Like if it wasn't 60, it was closer to 60 FPS. And then the Xbox, One X was like 40% more powerful. So next time is the 2X, then the 3X. Like,
yeah, just keep adding X's on there.
Yeah, the more X's, the better. And triple X, that's one, that'll be the the number one console for watching porn, obviously.
Just for the name alone. And
yeah,
while Xbox is just adding X's, PlayStation is just putting stacks on stacks on stacks.
Yeah, just fucking ginormous stacks.
Come get your stack. Come get your PS stack.
Yeah, get your fucking flapjacks.
But
it'll eventually be like PS4 Mega, PS4 Ultra, fucking PS4 Giga. Like the keep on adding
the Giga Station 4.
Yeah. Giga Station 4. Like this has so much power in it, it'll blow your fucking mind, and
your eyes will be amazing. Bleed.
Yeah, just bleed so many fucking Ks.
You can't even count all the Ks from the stacks.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like it would fill up a whole fucking Google Doc of Ks.
It's a lot of Ks.
Just that many.
I'm not down.
No, not down for that all. Don't do any of that. PlayStation or Xbox.
It's a bad idea.
Just fucking we don't know what we're talking about.
We're not experts. We're not engineers.
No, we're not even college graduates. We're just kind of trying to figure out our lives from here on out.
We just know we like
just
flapjacks.
started up. Yeah, we like flapjacks, and we think we know something about games. And for some reason, some people listen to us, and we're gonna keep on doing this.
So watch out, internet. We're gonna keep spitting out our uneducated opinions about architecture and life cycles of consoles, but too bad. I want to do it.
Yeah. You can't stop us.
Can't stop us. Probably move on now.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was probably a topic in and of itself.
Yeah. What's that topic gonna be? Just like the next generations of consoles or something like that.
Something like that.
I feel like that works.
Yeah. All right, we can move on to yours then. Micah? What's your topic?
Okay, so my topic. So a new Marvel movie came out, and usually it's kind of like, oh, what, another Thor movie? Haven't we gotten like 2 of these? Well, why don't we have any new characters? Like, I really don't need another one of these movies. But recently, Black Panther came out, and I'd talked about this previously. Like, I'd been a fan of Black Panther since I had seen the motion comic on Netflix back when they had it. And I remember that comic just kind of like just engrossed me into that character. Like, he was just such a fucking badass, he's a king. Or in that comic, he starts out and he's like fighting his uncle to become the Black Panther. And then he like puts on the suit and now he's a badass. And then one of the past Black Panthers had fought Captain America, which is fucking badass. And it's just fully got me into that character. And ever since then, it's been like a battle between like Spider-Man and Black Panther in my head of like who's the best superhero. And Black Panther might be my favorite superhero again now because of this movie. And I mean, there's so much to say about it. I feel like they did a really good job of just making that movie in general. Like they did a really good casting. Like, Chadwick Boseman for Black Panther, T'Challa. Like he is kind of like a silent, kind of reserved type almost.
He's very collected. He's very calm and collected. He's He's like witty. He's not witty. He just has a very like even head on his shoulders, and I like that
exactly.
a lot.
He's not some like shit talking asshole like a lot of the other Marvel characters.
He's not Ant-Man.
No, he's not. He's definitely, and he's not Spider-Man. He's not fucking Deadpool. He's none of these guys. He's like, I'm a king. Fucking, I know my shit. I know what's right, and I'm not gonna let anyone else tell me otherwise. And don't fuck with me, or I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, don't fuck with me or my people. Like, just stay out.
Or my peeps. Like, you're gonna regret it. And I love how in that movie, how it wasn't just in Wakanda. Like they had some scenes from like Oakland. We're doing a kind of a full spoilers.
Oh yeah,
this, aren't we?
Yeah. Okay, go out and see Black Panther if you haven't. Pause this video. Get in your car, go to the theater, see Black Panther, unpause this video, continue.
Yep, continue. But yeah, I love how they included some parts from America, like I was saying with Oakland. It was just kind of neat seeing that. Whereas like I would have felt like kind of like a major disconnect from like just being in Wakanda all the time. I'm like, we're in a fictional country in Africa, a continent I've never seen before, I've never been in. Super futuristic. It's kind of like Greg Miller's thoughts on how Superman as an alien, like, it kind of sucks. That's why you have to include the human aspect.
Yeah, you have to have something, a touchstone for you to be able to relate to.
Exactly. And then like kind of him just being in Oakland kind of had me relate to him. I never lived in Oakland, but I've been there before, and I kind of get a gist of that city. Like, it's kind of dirty and grimy. And there's fucking like smog everywhere. Well, not that bad, but you can definitely tell it's kind of worn down. Like, this is a fucking Fallout 4 looking ass city.
Yeah,
like, it's kind of depressing. Like, I remember taking the fucking BART past that city. It's like, oh, it looks disgusting.
Oh, man.
You get that fucking the grit and grime vibe from it. Like, you can just see the homeless people from like 50 miles away. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm glad they included that, and the whole thing with his uncle being there with some other dude who ended up, or what was that character's name?
I couldn't tell you any of their names just because they were
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me now. I remember like there was like a Zuri and like a
Hmm.
Suri,
Yeah,
and they're. I mean, all I can remember is yeah, pretty much T'Challa.
T'Challa and
That's how.
T'Chaka.
Yeah, T'Challa, T'Chaka. Sounds like they're trying to say chalk. That's how I can remember his name.
Yeah.
But um, what did you think about the movie?
So my first introduction to Black Panther as a character was from the animated Ultimate Avengers 2 film that came out like in the last decade or so.
Oh, yeah, I know which one.
It was pretty cool. At least I remember it being pretty cool. I really dug Black Panther in Civil War. I thought he was one of the highlights along with Spider-Man and Ant-Man. But going in, I was like, all right, obviously this is going to be really cool aesthetically. There's a lot of African touchstones to the various cultures there, and that's cool. I'm obviously not going to be able to pick up on that, just not being of that descent. But it's really cool for those who are. Like, this is finally a film for people that completely unabashedly celebrates that side of the world and those cultures in not a derogatory way or an oppressed way, but in a light that is positive and that is empowered. And I think that is really, really important. In fact, I think that's more important than just the overall quality of the film. I think it's, looking back on it, I think it's kind of a mid to high tier MCU movie. It's far from my favorite. I think there's a lot of things in it that it kind of falls into the traps of the other MCU movies. It never reaches like Winter Soldier heights, for example, for me. But I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Hell yeah,
The costume design was gorgeous. How it took inspirations for so many different tribes. The general aesthetic of Wakanda just seemed like, yeah, like you said, a very otherworldly place, and I want to see more of it. And I believe we are in Infinity War, which, I mean, this just makes me more excited for Infinity War because we get to see more of T'Challa and his people. I'm really surprised we didn't see Cap at all, considering he's supposed to be there at this time. But whatever, it's probably for the best that he wasn't shown to distract the main story. It was very separated.
Yeah.
I took kind of the same issue as Wonder Woman, where he's just so fucking powerful when he's in the suit. Like, he's completely invulnerable to everything. I'm like, I felt no tension whatsoever in any of the action scenes, except for like the ones at the end where the suit was being deactivated or whatever. But it just really took me. It's like, all right, all the bullets, literally no threat to him. The cars, no threat to him whatsoever. She implements that technology that absorbs the kinetic energy. He just explodes it out randomly. No tension whatsoever. I never felt like he was in danger, except for the challenges where he was, they took his powers away.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that kind of counteracts that part. If they hadn't included the part where they're taking away his powers, giving that weird fucking juice. Like, oh, now you don't have the power of the Black Panther. Now fight because you're on equal grounds. And then there was also like some parts where the suit was weakened, and it felt like a lot of it. He wasn't actually in the suit.
Yeah. He couldn't be because he would just destroy everything.
Exactly. Like there was a lot of scenes, where it was more like story based, not really where he's fighting in the suit.
Yeah.
And I really fucking like the suit, even though it was overpowered. Like I kind of have to agree with you. Like maybe they could have weakened it a bit, like fucking nerfed it a bit.
The kinetic energy thing, like, it was a step too far. I think he was perfect in Civil War.
Because that's part of it. Like, I mean, from what I know about Black Panther, I'd watched this fucking Iron Man show. It was one of the older ones, or it was a cartoon where he's like a kid. And they come across
yep. I've watched that.
You know which one I'm talking about?
It's weird. It's like all these kids, they're all kids for some reason.
And Black Panther's in that one, and they kind of explain the whole thing with vibranium, how he feed on the more energy he absorbs, and he can use that to his benefit and release it. So, like, to me, that's canon. I don't know if that's how it is in the 616 universe for Black Panther, but like, to me, it was fucking badass. Like, oh, this guy can just like stand there and get the shit beat it out of him, and then he can turn around and reverse it and use their energy against him. Like, how do you like your own fucking poison now?
Yeah, it's definitely cool, and I don't dispute that it isn't canon. Like, I guess I just take issue with that being a feature in the first place. But yeah, no, like he's gonna be super useful. I imagine against Thanos, just because he is so powerful. But like he was just fighting, mercenaries and stuff. Like he would just wipe the floor with them the whole time. But the conflict wasn't really in the moment to moment combat. It was mostly in like the the struggle for power and the struggle for what kind of a leader am I going to be. And there was a lot of layers to it, which I really appreciated. And also the whole like ceremony of drinking the thing and then like being buried and then waking up. Like the shot of him coming up out of the sand in like the immaculately white clothing, I thought was really cool imagery. And then talking with his dad, and then also having Michael B. Jordan's character talk to his dad, and just like you get to see the contrast. Yeah,
and it was like his own version. Like T'Challa's waking up and he's in some fucking desert, I assume, which is
he was just like
in
an African savannah.
It's copy and paste or random fucking desert in Africa. And then for Michael B. Jordan's character, he woke up, in his dad's apartment, and it's like his own version, Whereas like if he had woken up in Africa and saw his dad there, that would have been a little jarring, that's not his normal setting.
Absolutely.
Like this guy may be from Wakanda or born there or be of Wakandan blood, but he's full on American. Like he talks like this typical American douchebag.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much what his character was.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good contrast.
It was. Like you have the unhinged like asshole, and then you have the reserved, quiet, just king leader, type character. And you like Michael B. Jordan's character wanted to go out there and give everyone vibranium weapons, in the end, weren't they trying to like go and take over the world?
Basically, yeah. Come out on top socially. Like, we have been oppressed for our entire existence. Time to shift that power dynamic.
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of what confused me at first, because at first it seemed like they're gonna go out there and give people weapons, and if these people are at the bottom, they can fight their way up. And then it's like, no, we're gonna fall on like take over these countries, and Wakanda is a king of everyone. And then T'Challa, he's like, no, that's not such a great idea. We need to be out there and help people, but we don't want to take them over. That's not what we're about. For the most part, we want to keep to ourselves, but we're gonna be out there helping people. And I'm sure that was kind of alluding to like the Avengers. Eventually he's gonna be a part of them and kick ass. But they did a really good job with this movie. I love the soundtrack. It was very fitting.
Stellar soundtrack.
Yeah. What's his name? Kendrick Lamar. He did a great job. On its own, like it didn't sound too great, but like fitting it in with the movie, like it was pretty fucking badass. Like the whole scene with them, like the car chase. Here's a typical fucking car chase, like I feel like all the other fucking movies have it, but Black Panther, they kind of took it and did their own twist on it. You have T'Challa's sister back in Wakanda, like driving the car.
That was cool. Like that was very cool.
Some sort of video game, and yeah, that was really fucking badass. And like Black Panther's on top, fighting dudes, and they did a really good job with that part.
And Andy Serkis, I really liked Andy Serkis in this, much more so than in Age of Ultron. I really liked him.
Which one was Andy Serkis?
He is the, he's in everything. I don't know. He's the like deranged thief guy that steals the vibranium in the beginning.
Oh,
they take him and interrogate him. Yeah.
Okay. Claw.
Claw. That's right. Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember any of these characters' names.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
I really liked Martin Freeman in it as well. I thought he did a great job. Just kind of the aloof kind of, I'll do what I can in all of this.
Yeah.
And just the contrast of, having these very traditional values coupled with this, technologically advanced setting, and also just the conflict of, how do we treat the rest of the world? Do we help them or do we stay isolated? And just a lot of like real world parallels there. And then, obviously in the end, eventually, setting, we're gonna branch out a little bit, try to help people little by little, and then eventually we'll be in a place where we can help more people out. And because, if we found a civilization like that today, the first thing that would happen is like the UN would go in there and fucking take it over. Like there's no way that they would just be allowed to exist. So the fact that they approached the UN and it's like, we're going to come out of the shadows. We're not actually this third world country that, sells textiles and, rugs. Like we're this, super advanced civilization. Like we're going to, try to better the world with what we have. And I really like that. I liked Michael B. Jordan's character. He also just fell into the Marvel villain, like, I'm just a different version of the protagonist. Like, I have different armor on, and we fight exactly the same.
Different color suit.
Yeah, it's Iron Man 1, it's, Doctor Strange to an extent, it's Ant-Man for sure. It's just it's very typical. He pulled off that role with such gravitas that I can't help but like him. I think Vulture is still probably my number one MCU villain. That doesn't include the Netflix stuff, but he's definitely up there for me.
Yeah, like at first he's not just a different colored Black Panther. He's just badass who was in the Marines or whatever.
Yeah,
and he had all sorts of scars on his body from all the different people he's killed. It's kind of like putting down the lines for like all the dudes you've killed, and I just made him like look like such a fucking badass. And then like I was talking about how he's kind of like almost the American version of T'Challa, and I really like this character. He's just this shit talking asshole. And that's kind of all I needed. And when him and T'Challa kind of have their beat down, of like who's gonna be king. Like you're really scared for T'Challa. Like, come on, I don't want you to lose to this guy. Like, don't let him win. Like, whatever you do. And everyone else around him is like, don't lose. Like, we don't want this asshole as our king. And then he becomes king, and then they have to kind of give into his bidding, and it kind of sucks for them. But eventually he comes back, which is nice.
Yeah, it was in those moments that I felt the most tension, because it's like, you don't want this asshole to be king, but he will. He's going to be. And yeah, like if they just started out, like if he just broke in to Wakanda, stole the golden suit, because when they showed the golden suit, it's like, all right, somebody else is going to take it. And then, but no, they gave him so much depth before giving him the suit that I kind of let it go in the end.
Yeah.
But
gave it a pass.
Yeah, there was never like the homecoming moment, like, come on, Peter, come on, Spider-Man. Like, they're just that where you could feel that palpable tension and the sense that the heroes actually really overcoming both their personal struggles as well as the external villain. I just never felt that. Like the end fighting between them, I kind of fell flat for me. It was very just kind of, they're punching people, they're punching each other, they're flying through the air, punching each other, CGI, which I never really dug, but I liked it more here than I did in Guardians 2, which I thought was really jarring and weird. You're seeing Star-Lord do a Man of Steel flying, and it was super weird, but I don't know.
A little too much
there. But yeah, I really, really overall enjoyed it, and I definitely want to listen to the full album, like the soundtrack, because just that I don't know if I paid enough attention during it to really appreciate them. Definitely go back, because a lot of care was put into it. Just there's so much here was executed well from a visual standpoint that my minor gripes about the plot just kind of don't really matter in the grand scheme of things for me. It doesn't really ruin the experience.
And one thing I'd like to say about it is I liked how they put in humor, but it wasn't like over fucking bearing like with previous Marvel movies.
There was a couple jokes I kind of was like, eh. Like the what are those?
Really?
I was like,
okay, I was like, that joke's like fucking like 4 years old.
Don't do that, yeah. But it happened.
Yeah, that's the part where I visually or like I audibly cringed.
Yeah,
I was like, they could have done that without that.
She was just so loud. She was like, what are no, like it's like Jesus. Like
I mean, everyone laughed in the theater,
yeah,
but I was like, no, you shouldn't be laughing. That part wasn't funny.
I think it was just more shock.
As time goes on, they actually put that joke in there, and I'm sure as time goes by, like people won't even get it. You know, like it'll just be a thing in the past where like only our generation will get it.
Yeah,
and our kids will be like, I don't fucking get that. That's not funny at all. It's just one of those things that won't age because it's kind of sets the the place and time of where it's at, and even then it's not getting the right place and time. Like if they had put in some fucking I don't know, like Tide Pod joke.
See that? Oh my gosh,
fucking worse.
That would have been.
Yeah.
I feel like if any movie is going to have a Tide Pod joke, it's going to be Deadpool. But I feel like that's even too late. They're wrapped.
Yeah.
So it might be like, I don't know if we're going to get any Tide Pod jokes, apparently. Maybe in Solo. That would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, like maybe there's some sort of pill or something that looks like a Tide Pod and eats it or some shit like that. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Solo because that was the first time I saw that trailer.
What'd you think?
I mean, it looks like it's going to be a good movie. I mean, for me, it got me hyped. Like, I know some people had criticisms on, like, who's playing Solo and all that. I'm like, I don't care. This looks like a fun movie. And it's going, like, into the origins of Han Solo, which is what, everyone wants, or what I want at least.
I would say most people don't want it, but...
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it's going back to the thing with like Star Wars fans are never going to be pleased.
It's true.
No matter what you give them, even though, oh, this is what you want, guys, right? No, like with the Force Awakens, like it was kind of like the old stuff, just slightly mixed up. Okay, here it is. Oh, that's just like the old stuff. We don't want that.
We want the old stuff, but we don't want the old stuff. We want
yeah. And then okay, you get the next movie. Was it what's the sequel called? I forgot it already.
Rogue One, because that has had revisionist history too. They've all changed. It's like, all right, they come out, everyone loves it, and then everyone hates it like months after. It's like I thought I thought this was all well liked. Yeah, like it's apparently really cool to hate on Force Awakens and Rogue One now. It's like, all right, I fucking love Rogue One specifically.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a fan service, like just smattering. I love it for that. But yeah, it's really cool to hate on Force Awakens, and then Last Jedi was the first one that like it was pretty much unanimously negative out of the gate. So I feel like people might actually turn around on this one over time.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, I loved Episode 8. Like for me, it was a really good movie. But I know Emma and Eli and a lot of people didn't like that movie whatsoever. But take into account, like they're hardcore Star Wars fans. And are you, Noah?
Yeah, I fucking okay. That's like my favorite like setting in fiction. Like I could say I'm pretty attached to this, but it took, like I said in the spoiler cast we did for Last Jedi, go check that out. It took me 2 viewings to really get what they were going for with Last Jedi, because they did some really weird and unconventional things that I think in the long run are going to pay off significantly. It did so much to distance themselves from the original trilogy and from the prequels, but then it also had to dip into the prequels with the whole Canto Bight thing, and there were some weird decisions and weird comedy that didn't fit. But I truly believe that they did more good than bad in 8. I need to go back and see 7 again to really compare, but I enjoy it now.
Well, in that movie, they kind of had to like reset everything. Like this is the movie that's gonna set everything right. Like that's pretty much like the Days of Future Past of for Star Wars.
But it didn't. Past, it made it really fucked up. Because it's like, all right, you set up all these questions in 7, and then they just pretty much took most of them to the wayside. I actually really like the whole race parents thing being nobody, because not everybody in Star Wars needs to be freaking related to each other. I hate that. So I really like that personally, but like Snoke, it's like, all right, yeah, we didn't have much backstory to the Emperor in 5 and 6, but this is a totally different. We can't just do the same thing over and over again. It's like we need to know at least a little bit about who this guy is. It's a lot more straightforward for the emperor to be, in charge of the empire. Why is this guy in charge of this, band of, the imperial remnant, essentially? Like there's a lot more room to explore there. And I was watching a video from Red Letter Media about and they were talking about how Star Wars is like really small and limited and you can't do much with it. I totally wholeheartedly disagree. It's just that Disney refuses to do a lot with it and to be really creative. They're putting themselves in this original trilogy like box where they have to, check all these boxes. We have to have TIE fighters, we have to have X-Wings. It's like there's so much narrative potential there that they refuse to tap into, and that's my biggest issue with Star Wars right now. Just because there's so much potential, and they're tying themselves down so much to have the most amount of mainstream popularity. It's like they have the most incredible universe ever created, and they're just confining themselves to this, these core group of characters. It's a whole, I know I'm rambling on about nothing at this point, but
that's okay.
It's just they could do so much, and they're choosing to be very stringent. And I know they just greenlit like 2 more trilogies, so we're far from being over with this stuff. We're gonna die before this Star Wars ends, but man, they just need to take some significant risks. They need to keep... I know the critical reception to Last Jedi was not great, but that had some great steps to making sure Star Wars lasts and doesn't grow stale. But with the response to it, I don't know if they're going to double back, and it's going to be the safest thing, and it's going to be Return of the Jedi over and over again, and they're going to have to fight this giant super weapon, and Kylo and Rey are going to fight, and Snoke's going to come back in the throne room, and it's going to be just ridiculous, and the Porgs are going to be on their own planet. We're going to go to the... It's just... I don't know.
Porg planet?
Which is probably just the island, but just the Porgs will be the new Ewoks. They'll fight the First Order. I don't know.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a mess.
Who knows what they're going to do? Yeah, with Star Wars.
Star Wars is a mess right now.
Yeah, but they just have like a trilogy of trilogies, and they're just adding more trilogies.
Yeah, there's like let's see how the Rian Johnson trilogy does before we greenlit the Game of Thrones guys trilogy. Which if anybody is qualified to do the Old Republic, it's them, because just imagining a Game of Thrones style like structure, but in Star Wars, put that in the Old Republic, you'll make so much money. But they want to stick to the iconography of the original trilogy, and that's really frustrating.
Because I mean, Star Wars is a lot. It's a way bigger universe than like what they're making it out to be.
Exactly.
Like, there's not just these fucking like 3 different characters, and then there's other characters, and then they're just the previous characters' kids. Like they don't have to all be related.
Yeah, there's so much more. And Rogue One did such a great job of trying to flesh out the factions and the world. Like you saw so many more different varieties of species and like how they live their day-to-day lives, and that's the stuff I really appreciated. But anyway, the topic wasn't exactly Star Wars. I'm sure we can get Emma and Eli on there some other day to really hash out what the hell is wrong with Star Wars right now. But what even was this topic? Black Panther? You really like Black Panther? You want to have any final thoughts on the Black Panther film?
I'm just gonna say I'm glad they made it. I really didn't expect them to put out a Black Panther movie just because, this character is not really well known. But I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of paved way for it. Like no one who knew who the fuck these guys were, but Marvel Studios made it so. And I feel like they're doing the same thing with Black Panther. With Civil War. They brought him out, and no one really knew who he was, besides the hardcore. And now, Black Panther's kind of going up there, toe to toe with all these other characters like Thor, Captain America. Out there somewhere, there's a kid who now his favorite superhero is Black Panther because they put out a Black Panther movie.
So many kids. Black Panther is a phenomenon now. Like he is so well loved.
Yeah, and like that's amazing to me, and I'm kind of glad that the African American community here now has something to like look up towards. Now it's not just a bunch of white dudes with black sidekicks. Like now there's a legit black superhero, in the mainstream.
it's about
that
damn
makes me
time.
happy.
Yeah, it's like I know we have had
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Blade and stuff before. It's like, but this is like truly like a character like everyone can look up to,
Yeah,
like Spawn, but
and
like
it's kind of like
it's not the same.
yeah, and it's kind of like how with Wonder Woman, how it was a female character and a female lead, a superheroine
With a female
and
director,
female director.
you had a black director doing this with a predominantly black cast. Like it's about damn time.
Yeah, and I hope they do more of these, bring more of the African American characters to light, or not even that, just more of the minorities. But at the same time, I don't want them like shoehorning in just because. In the end, I feel like it has to be a part of the creator's vision. Like if he didn't envision, an African American character, he's not necessarily like gonna put him in there. Just because. But yeah, I'm super glad they made this movie. Black Panther's a badass, and I wonder how he's gonna play out in Marvel's next movie, Infinity War.
War.
Okay,
We're almost there.
Yep, it's coming out pretty soon. Is that still in 2 parts, or is it 1 part, or what's that movie like?
It's not titled as 2 parts, but the story's going to be 2 parts. Like everyone knows it's going to be 2 parts.
Okay.
Like they say it's going to be Infinity War, and then it's not titled yet the next part, but we know it's all going to all tie together.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want to market it like that because I guess like research shows that people don't pay attention to 2-parter movies as much or something. I'm sure they did the analytics. They're much smarter than any of us are.
Exactly.
But yeah, excited to see T'Challa back with the crew.
Yep, his homies.
With his homies. All right, DC. Now I'm looking at you. Get the Static Shock movie off the ground. You want another black superhero? Do it. You need that.
Fucking do it.
Fucking Static Shock.
Who's that? I don't know who that is.
That's the problem. If they get that movie out, everyone will know his name.
Okay, yeah, do that, and it'll be amazing, and it'll have another movie we can get behind.
No, it'll probably be really bad because DC.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Come on.
Yeah, pull your heads out of your asses, DC. I sound like a broken record with this stuff. But before we move on to I Recommend, we have some rapid fire questions from the internet. To submit a question, write in at Gridlife Digest on Twitter or on a corresponding thread on a certain Facebook group. You know who you are. So, Javin Mather, what up? Asks, if you could have one character trait or skill set someone else you admire has, what would it be?
Huh. So, what are the parameters for this question?
Just what is something that someone else you respect has that you wish you had? Be it personality traits or just skills or physical traits, just whatever.
Let's see. It's kind of a hard one. What are you thinking, Noah?
Mine is purely surface level. I just wish I could grow a beard, to be honest. And also, I just wish I was a better just writer and speaker. I just want a better voice. I want Snowbike Mike's voice. That's my answer.
That's a really good one. Yeah, everyone should aspire to be like Snowbike Mike. Just how happy he seems all the time, and just how well of a speaking voice he is.
Hype machine.
Yeah, like if you pay attention to what he's actually saying, it's not that great. But like, it's how he says it. When it comes down to it, like it's how you're saying it. If you put like me next to like Snowbike Mike, we have the same fucking sentence.
Yeah,
like it'll sound like that much more amazing coming out of his voice, out of his mouth than my mouth. Like that's just a skill. He was born with, or he like molded over time and became his own. And yeah, I really have to applaud to him. Like that's how his streams are so amazing. Like he really gets you involved, and then he has that spectator voice. And like his last stream I watched, like he died at the beginning of a lot of those, but like it was amazing just seeing him spectate. Like that's pretty much why you're there, to hear what he had to say about what was going on. Like that's why you're there, to watch him in the first place. So it didn't really matter to me like what his skill level is at. It was like I could listen to this guy talk all damn day. Like he's amazing. Shout out to Snowbike Mike.
If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. If you're not using that for anybody else, go take that, subscribe, to twitch.tv/snowbikemike. He does the greatest streams on the internet. I'm going to say that.
He does.
Favorite streamer.
Unrivaled.
Full stop. Dr. Disrespect, get out of here.
Yeah, you don't have shit on Snowbike Mike.
So
I guess I still have to answer it.
That's true.
So let's see. I don't know. I'd probably want some like really good like videography skills.
Yeah.
Like
you want like some like Roger Deakins, like really incredible cinematography.
Exactly. Like I'd probably be like one of Christopher Nolan's cinematographers. I forgot what that dude's name is, but he did a Transcendence, that movie with Johnny Depp. Where
I never saw that.
It's a pretty good movie. It's pretty underrated. I mean, it's kind of a typical like, oh, he's dying, so they take him out of his brain, and he's a computer now, and then he dies, and then they're able to make a body for him, and then they put his consciousness in that body. It's a fake body, but I know it got panned by reviewers. It got like, I don't know, probably like a 50 something on Rotten Tomatoes, but I enjoyed it just because it had that really Christopher Nolan-esque cinematography in it, and I basically like to be like that guy.
Have you seen Blade Runner 2049 yet?
No, I haven't. I fucking still need to watch that.
Do that, please. Well, do both if you haven't seen the original, but man, that's probably the most gorgeous movie I've ever seen. Be like that guy. Roger Deakins, get an Oscar. That's a good one. All right, he has a few questions for us, actually. So,
sweet. What
gaming franchise would you love to see take on a different gameplay genre than what it's known for? So you take the setting of one game and apply it to a mechanics of another game.
Let's see. Different mechanics.
I want a Mass Effect RTS.
That'd be interesting. Real-time strategy.
Mm-hmm. Like a Halo Wars, but with a Mass Effect skin.
Yeah. I can kind of see that working. I've never really been into RTSs, but I can see it kind of has a niche. I don't know. I'd like to see something weird, like take Call of Duty and turn it into something else, like more of like an RPG, like turn-based. Turn that into like a turn-based game.
So XCOM, but without aliens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that is already a game.
Which would be pretty fucking cool, actually.
Mm-hmm. I just want to see them do something different with it.
I mean, Call of Duty is always going to be Call of Duty, but take like a military shooter and give it that kind of turn-based mechanics. Yeah, I'd be down.
Take something that looks kind of boring and make it exciting again. Breathe some new life into it.
Medal of Honor. Do it for Medal of Honor.
Okay, Medal of Honor even.
Yeah, that'll be it, because nobody buys those.
No, I don't think they even make them anymore.
Yeah, the last one bombed.
Yeah, that came out in like 2013 or something, or whatever it came out, and didn't do well at all. It was just called Medal of Honor, right, or something.
Warfighter, I think.
Warfighter.
Yeah,
What a creative name you got there.
Yeah, right. It's better than Infinite Warfare. So next one, first time a game has made you feel genuinely uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Yes.
Probably for me it'd be like the choices I made in The Walking Dead season 1.
It's a good one.
Like choices you have to make in there. It's like I need to pause it here for a second because I feel really disgusting right now. Like having to choose this character, choose to kill this character over this character, or whatever the situation was. Like that's probably the first time I ever felt uncomfortable. What about you, Noah?
So I talked about this with Matt, I think either last week or the week before, but in Ocarina of Time, the Skulltula house that you find in Kakariko Village, when I was a kid, that shit was terrifying. Like, genuinely disturbing. Just, the image I have in my head of it is so much more fucked up than it actually is. Like, just, the young mind is, imagination run wild. Like, that was legitimately disturbing for me. And then I guess a more recent example, maybe like the Telltale stuff. I don't know. There hasn't been, like, Spec Ops, maybe. That was pretty harrowing. But yeah, Ocarina of Time, definitely my first genuinely uncomfortable moment from a very young age. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, just the sounds of the skulltulas, just that, just moving around.
Yep.
Like,
Chills.
it just felt like they were crawling down your back.
Yep, exactly.
Even though, like, that was N64 sounds. They weren't the cleanest, but it was detailed enough for you to feel uncomfortable. And then those weird mummy things. What are those dudes called?
The re-deads. Those things also, like the fucking banshee screams that they do, and then they fucking like grab you and like they jump on your back. Yeah, that's Ocarina of Time is a fucked up game for a little kid.
It is. And then it gets even worse once they get to what's the next one?
Majora's Mask, where it's like legitimate, like
Majora's Mask,
existential.
I think it gets even worse.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely worse. Man,
those games are too disturbing to be children's games.
But rated E for everyone.
Yeah. Even though that
there's
blood.
At
least deserves a T.
There's like legitimate blood in Ocarina of Time. Like, it's crazy. You never allow that. You never allow that today.
Wasn't it blue?
I don't know. Ganon's was fucking red. When you kill him. But yeah, it was like the re-deads. They would think it was like green or something, but still.
Even though that usually bumps up a game to like M rating. It seems like if there's blood flowing, that immediately bumps it up.
Yeah, there was the rest of it was tame enough. And then finally, our own Eli Shaw, the San Francisco Treat, asks, "What is the best Sonic character?"
Let's see.
Think real hard. He's got a lot of friends.
Yeah, he does that. Well, he has the yellow one. He has Tails. He's got the red one.
Your boy Knuckles. Yeah. Shadow. But my answer is Shadow, just because of how just unabashedly an edgelord he is. I thought Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, was just the coolest thing ever. It's like he rode a motorcycle. It has like an MP5 and shit. He says "damn" a lot. So cool.
Says "damn" a lot.
Yeah. I thought he was the coolest.
I guess I'd have to go with the typical Sonic, just because he's the original. And I remember playing one of the Sonic games at my babysitter's house when I was a real young kid. I couldn't tell you what console it was on or anything. I just remember playing Sonic. And I think it was 3D. No, it probably wasn't. I have no idea what it was.
Sonic Heroes, Sonic Generations, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic,
I have no idea.
And the Secret of the Rings.
This was at least in 2001 or something.
So probably Sonic Heroes or Adventure.
Yeah, one of those two. But I vaguely remember playing that. I think that was one of my first video game experiences. All I remember was it was Sonic and I was playing it on a TV.
He loves chili dogs.
He does?
Oh, he loves it. Go watch some clips of the cartoon series, or one of the various cartoon series. He's a big fan of chili dogs. Shout out to Sonic. He fucking sucks, except for Sonic Mania. All right.
Still haven't played it, but
get it on Switch. It's a blast. It's a legitimately good game.
Okay.
I can't say that for many of the Sonic entries. All right, so now finally it's time for I Recommend, where one of us recommends to the group something for the others to check out. It can be anything, and last time we were recommended Lateralis, the third studio album from progressive metal band Tool. This was mainly for Max, but he's not here, so we're going to talk about it. Where does this album rank on the entire Tool discography? Like, where does it rank for you as a fan?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but yeah, I'd say it's number one for me.
It's so fucking good, dude. It's so good.
It is a very good album. I remember downloading that and putting it on my phone, and going and riffing to the whole album just on repeat.
Oh yeah,
it would be on repeat all day long, and as soon as it would play through the whole album, okay, start listening to again, because I don't really have anything else on my phone. And why do I need anything else? Because I just love this fucking album. And going to Schism, my friends and I, we made up some sort of joke, when something dramatic happens, Schism will start playing.
Yeah,
thinking of some sort of a hypothetical, we were in in the middle of like honors English 11, and my teacher, like we were like, where my friend and I were like, putting out a hypothetical, like, what if our teacher's a robot, and then like your head like turns and then like fucking tentacles pop out, and I was like, oh yeah, Schism would start playing at that time. and he's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And then just from then on, that was the joke. Yeah. Like something like minute happens, like you fucking turn off the switch, turn off the light, fucking Schism starts playing. Like just that intro, with the bass line and all that.
Oh, that Justin Chancellor sexiness.
Oh, it's so fucking badass.
Oh my god, all those guys are so talented.
And I remember trying to learn Schism on like the bass, but like I couldn't do the tapping parts, so it didn't sound right at all. Like I could do it, but like not the tapping part, so it didn't sound anything right.
Yeah, but Justin is a fucking bass god. He is so good. It's incredible the stuff that he pulls off.
But fucking such a good album. I'm excited for whenever they put out their newest one.
2025. I mean, they got okay. I'm gonna find the update because Maynard just dropped like an actual non-facetious update on Twitter. Let me find it real quick. Yeah, because he's been actively like why do you guys all care about Tool so much? I just want to make wine all the time. Like leave me alone. I'm an old man now. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So, quote, started getting music files from the boys with the word final in the title a few months ago after 11 years of begging. That in theory means the tracks won't change out from under me while I'm trying to write stories and melodies to them. In theory, still waiting for the final on one, but way ahead. Words and melodies 100% done on all but one. Someday we'll track them, long way to the finish line, but at least we're closer. Meanwhile, new Perfect Circle release on 420. So it's happening soon, hopefully. Like this is Sweet. More of a concrete update than we've gotten in, I mean, obviously 11 years. So I always thought that it was Maynard that was the delay, but apparently they've been slacking on the other end as well. A couple of them. Yeah, so I think it's probably just a giant mess of procrastination and hard work. What's your favorite track on the album? Because like it flows together so well, but like if you had to pick one specific song, what would it be?
It's a toss up between Lateralis and Schism. I know those are kind of the radio rock, songs.
Schism and Parabola definitely radio.
But yeah, I'd have to say Schism just because like that's kind of how I was introduced to Tool as a whole. I just remember hearing it, or no, my friend showed me Tool in high school, and I was like, these guys are fucking sick. I want to listen to them more. And yeah, that's pretty much how I was introduced to them. So that's what I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite?
If I had to pick, Lateralis is technically just an absolute masterpiece.
It is,
but I really, really love Ticks and Leashes, just especially the drum part. But if I had to go number one, I love The Grudge. I love how it starts out the album. I love the riffs in there. Like I think just overall, it's vocally and just with all the instrumentation, I love the execution of that song. But like I said, I can go through the whole thing. I've been listening to the trifecta of Disposition, Reflection, and Triad like over and over and over again this last week. Just those three songs back to back to back. They flow together so well. I love it so much. Like I can get that's like if I need to get work done, I'll put on that 3 loop, and it's a great time.
Damn.
My favorite album, I think probably 10,000 Days has my favorite songs from Tool, period, but I think Lateralis definitely is my favorite album because it doesn't have any of the bullshit of some of the other albums where it's like the filler tracks, kind of like a Message to Harry Manback in Enema, and just the kind of stuff where you just like, I've heard this, like I can just skip it. Like it doesn't really have anything like that in this one. It's just banger after banger after banger. Even 10,000 Days has some of that in the middle, but there's still some great songs on there. But yeah, just Max, listen to this fucking album. This is for you. But
go listen to it. But like Lateralis as a whole, like I feel like that's how it's supposed to be listened to as like an album.
That's why they won't put it on Spotify. They don't want to
Yeah.
split it up.
But even then, come on, like
Pretentious
that's how I'm gonna listen.
assholes.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna listen to the album, anyways. You know, that's how a lot of your Tool fans are gonna listen to it, because that, you know, it's the best experience is listening to it as a whole instead of like listening to a song here and there. Like when I just hear Schism like playing on the radio, I'm like, fuck, you know, I need the song that comes after this, or
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like, you know, a legit Tool experience, if that makes any sense.
No, it totally does. Gets right into Powerball, like just the very slow, like melodic intro. Yeah, man, it's so fucking good. Everyone go listen to this. Go listen to all the albums. But I've actually been really taking a liking to Opiate lately. Just a very raw, just kind of. It's before they got really pretentious, and they just kind of like a really raw, heavy sound. I've been really liking those tracks, and then Undertow too. But yeah, always got a special place for Lateralis itself.
I'll have to go back and listen to a lot of their earlier stuff, you know, before Lateralis, just because, you know, I haven't really paid too much attention to it. Like, I probably listened to each one of those albums like once, but I definitely need to go back.
Oh, absolutely do it.
The time.
Just honestly, if you have the time, you're roofing or something, just get the whole discography, just let it play. It's
fucking nonstop.
It's an experience. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. Even with all the filler tracks and all. Any final thoughts on Lateralis before we move on?
Just that Tool's a fucking awesome band, and I'd love to see them play live, like especially after they release their new album.
Oh yeah,
whenever that happens. So, please, I need that in my ears.
I am so sad I missed them because they came here, but I couldn't get the tickets. It sold out in like 2.5 minutes, and I will regret that forever until they come back.
Yeah, one day.
They put on a hell of a show. If you watch any of their live shows just on YouTube or whatever, like they just go nuts. Especially Maynard, he's a crazy person. All right, well, go check out Lateralis by Tool.
I like to recommend the Black Panther motion comic I was talking about.
Oh, that's a good one.
I sent you the link, or I can send it to you again. But it's on Daily Motion, of all places.
Guess I'm taking a gander over to Daily Motion.
Yeah, that happens once every 1,000 years. Yeah. No one fucking uses that for anything except for like illegal uploads, because no one really pays attention there. But definitely go check it out. It's done by Marvel Knights, which is kind of like the kind of darker version of Marvel, and they've also done Iron Man Extremis, which is basically the story of Iron Man 3, but it's way more fleshed out and way darker.
That's a great comic. But yeah, go read that. It's fucking awesome.
It is a great comic. I was so happy that they pretty much based Iron Man 3 off of that comic.
Yeah, they just kind of fucked it up, but yeah, it was a good thought. It was a good try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, you know, they can definitely tell they put an effort into it and at least mentioned it. It was kind of weird, like glowing hands and shit, like burning through stuff. That doesn't seem as canonical as I wanted it to be, but they still did a great job. But yeah, everyone go check out the Black Panther motion comic. It's a great time. You'll have fun with it. And yeah.
In that case, this has been episode 25 of Gridlife Digest. Thank you so much for listening. You can head over to gridlifedigest.com to see all the content in one place. Subscribing on YouTube and the podcast subscribus. Now I'm making new words. See, I said subskitter on purpose because it's basically a thing at this point, but subservice, that's a new one. And the podcast service of your choice, so you never miss what's happening. We'll be back next Wednesday on another episode of Gridlife Digest Weekly. Thank you once again. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Be good to each other. That was a good one, Micah. A little one-on-one.
Yeah, I loved it. It was way more fun than I thought it would be. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.